Hello, and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are not getting the results you are looking for from your digital marketing efforts, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everyone. What's the good word? This is Frank Deming, the local business guy, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. Before we get started with today's content, and I have a really good topic for you today, as always, but before we get started, I just want to do a couple of housekeeping. Number one, I want you guys, if you have any questions concerning any past episodes that we have put out thus far, if you have a question about a marketing technique that we have been introducing you thus far, please feel free to get in hold of us at 888-416-7752 or send us an email at info@lbmsllc.com. Reference the episode that you're talking about or the technique that you were actually concerned about, and we will reach out to you and give you the best advice possible. Again, that's 888-416-7752. Also, if you inspire to be a guest, if you have something you want to share to our listeners and you want to be a guest on our show, just follow that same process, 888-416-7752, or send us an email at info@lbmsllc.com, and we'll make sure that we'll put you on the schedule. Now, last bit of information before we get to today's topic. If you want to start your own podcast, if you've been listening to us or other podcasts and you say, man, that's kind of cool, I want to spread my message just like that, I want you guys to give Buzzsprout a chance. Buzzsprout is an awesome tool to use to start your own podcast and promote it. And the reason why I like Buzzsprout is because they give you all the tools that you need to easily spread the word and easily distribute your podcast, better said, to all of the real big players in the podcasting industry. And that's Apple Podcasts, that's Google Podcasts, that's Spotify, just to name a few. So if you are looking to start your own podcast, I really ask you guys, give Buzzsprout a shot. There's a link on the show notes here where you can click on. And when you start, if you use that link, you actually get a $20 gift certificate from Amazon, and it actually lets them know that we sent you. So Buzzsprout is the absolute best way to start a podcast. Okay, great. Now to today's content. Now today I want to talk to you about something interesting that basically came to me because a friend of mine was curious about something many months ago. And it's all about influencer marketing. So I'm titling this, How Influencer Marketing Can Help Brands. And so for those of you who don't know what influencer marketing is it's when you go out and you reach out to a influencer, say like an A-Rod. Like for instance, I recently became a friend with A-Rod on LinkedIn. And well, not a friend, a connection with A-Rod. So, my plan is at some point to reach out to him and see if maybe he wants to be a guest on my show, or maybe, maybe he can introduce me to some people. Maybe he can endorse my brand. I don't know. It's my point of the point is that there is a way, or there is a strategy that you want when it comes to influencer marketing. A lot of people, I think, miss out on this opportunity, maybe because of fear of being rejected. I don't know. But it's a very interesting thing. Now, I am by no means an expert on this, okay? So that's full disclosure. No, by no means am I an expert. So you probably were saying, well, why should we listen to you? Well, here's the interesting thing. Although I am not an expert, like doing it for myself, we've actually done it for other clients of ours. And it's worked pretty good. I have not worked up the noise, full disclosure, worked up the nerve to do it. But when I saw that I did a connection request to certain celebrities on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, like I said, A-Rod just became a connector, and they've accepted. I said, you know what? I've been doing this for my clients for the past 2.5 years. I should start doing it for myself. So this episode is kind of like for me too, to kind of remind me of something. Now, this is something that you want to do all the time, especially during a pandemic, okay? You want to stay top of mind, especially since, think about it, guys. I want you to think about a couple of things I'm going to talk to you about today. When we first got locked down, or, really locked down, I mean, now we're kind of opened. By far, it's not back to how it was before, obviously, because there's certain things that you can't do. Like, for instance, you can't have fans in a baseball game. That's not really normal. So, I mean, we're not totally shut down anymore, but it's not normal. But I want you to think about back when we first locked down. How many of you probably thought, this is only going to take 1, maybe 2 months, on the high side. And I'm guilty of that too. I didn't think we would be right now in August and still with a quasi economy when it comes to going to the malls, going to the beaches, going to the restaurants and all that. I thought we would be fully back. Now, if you think about it, now experts are actually saying that it could be another 18 months before things go back to quote unquote normal. And I'm talking about walking around without masks or worrying about, how many times I'm going to say show of hands, but I can't see you. But I'm sure this has happened to you. You walk out of your car, you go straight to the supermarket, you go, oh, I forgot your mask. It's kind of like forgetting your cell phone. Now it's the mask. So it's interesting times that we're living here. So what I mean by normal is that's what I mean. I'm talking about without all these signs of social distancing and having all of this stuff all over the place, it's totally not normal. Now we've become accustomed to it. Those of us who have gone out and ventured out, I'm one who has ventured out. I realized that I need to, branch my wings, spread my wings a little bit, and ventured out. I mean, of course, staying safe and staying with social distancing, but I'm also glad that I did it because now I know what's going on there. I'm actually tweeting about stuff, posting stuff on Facebook, and being more active in the community because of what's going on. And that in turn is actually kind of helping my business as well. So it pays to go out. In the long run, it does. But, a lot of times, a lot of people paused, unfortunately, their marketing efforts, which is not a good thing. And on previous episodes, I talked to you about strategies that you can do to stay top of mind without breaking the bank. And I'm hoping that you're taking action on some of those things because they do work. And I'm actually practicing those things as well. And I can tell you they work. But back to the topic of hands-on, and this is all about influencer marketing. Back, me, I love to fill you with stats and data to help you as to why I think this is a good topic, and especially at this time. Back in 2018, a study showed that influencer marketing can bring in as much as 11 times the return on investment. Okay? And right now, social media use is up because people are not as it's just people are more aware of social media. It's amazing. I saw this other study where I don't get my news this way, but a lot of people get their news from social media because the news channels are on social media and they give you, then you don't have to sit there and watch the whole news anymore. You can just go on, maybe go on your favorite news channel's Facebook page and just grab the snippets what you want. And that's the way people are getting their news now. So, and it's now more than ever because of, this the way everything has changed. Social media use is up. So influencer marketing is, back in 2018, they said that it can increase your thing by 11%, 11 times. So imagine now that social media is up. So think about it. If you, I want you to, I'm going to give you some other stats here. Did you know that sponsored Instagram posts, it fell from 35% of social content in mid-February to just 4% in mid-April. So think about that. With a captive audience and less competition, this is logical time to invest in influencer marketing. It's really the logical time to invest your time. And when I say invest, I'm talking about invest time. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that again, that quote. Sponsored Instagram posts fell from 35% of social content in mid-February to just 4% in mid-January. In mid-April, excuse me. Okay, so think about that. If you have a captive audience, you're going to have less competition. So that's an important stat to think about. And for those of us who are stat mavens, I'm a stat maven, as you could tell. I mean, I love stats because without stats, I don't do any marketing activity without stats. Unless I'm beginning, obviously. If I'm beginning from scratch and I don't know the stats, I let a marketing campaign guide me all the way through. 3-4 months, depending on the platform, obviously, and I'll see if I can continue. But if I already know the stats, I'm gonna go based on what the stats tell me, and that stats telling me that we gotta go with influencer marketing. Okay, so if you want to choose an influencer during a pandemic, I want to give you a couple of tips on that. It's more important than ever to choose an influencer to work with carefully, okay? And you got to remember that not all public figures have responded as tactfully as one would wish. So you got to find somebody that matches with your views, if you will. And for the most part, I'm talking for me, A-Rod is more on my side of stuff. I've seen his posts. They're not that, they're not that controversial. It's something that I actually believe in, some of the stuff that he puts out. So that's why I chose him. So you want to take a look back through all of the social posts and comments since, say, COVID-19 hit here in the U.S. And then you want to verify that they haven't made any, say, insensitive or inappropriate comments, because you don't want to align your brand with a problematic voice. You just don't want to do that at this point. If remember, these are strategies that I'm talking about, influencer marketing during a pandemic. I mean, influencer marketing in general is great, but during a pandemic, this is what you want to do. Okay. Then you want to think about, think about the reach of the influencers. So you may want to consider, say, nano influencers or micro influencers for your campaign. All right, so nano influencers have fewer than, say, 10,000 followers, and micro influencers have fewer than 100,000 followers. Okay, so just think of it that way. So think of nano influencers or micro influencers. Okay, both are just trustworthy. Okay, both are highly trustworthy and have loyal fans. So either way you want to go, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that it's aligned to your brand and it aligns to what your voice is. That's the key. That's really the key. Not so much the micro and the nano. Okay, you got to understand that. So you may pay less and receive a better ROI working with say 15 accounts of 10,000 followers each, rather than one with a big account of 150,000 followers. Just saying. That's just a little food for thought that you do. Remember, I'm big on stats. So this is something I haven't done it myself, but I've done it for other clients and it's worked this way. So this is why I wanted to bullet out a list of things that you want to do. See, that once you and the influencer have come to an agreement on the terms of the deal, work closely with them and craft the message. You don't want the ad to be tone deaf. You don't want to potentially alienate your prospects. Okay, so once you've contacted the influencer and you've reached a deal, work with them. Let's see what we can do. So let's think about a tactful ad campaign that you want to do once you've done the work and reached out to them and they've said yes. Like, well, I'm going to reach out to A-Rod. Just like any good campaign, guys, influencer marketing needs to have a clear goal. I'm a huge advocate of that. You've heard me say that a plethora of times. So you could be promoting a single product or a single service, or you may just be, building, like, say, name recognition for your brand. And that's cool too, because if someone endorses a product or a brand or a service, that's all you need. I mean, think about it. Think about you getting an influencer to endorse your service. That's really good. See, if you're not promoting a service, you probably want to choose something carefully. Okay. See, services that help people to connect. You want services like that. You want, something like, for instance, if for the pandemic, for this pandemic time, you want maybe a service to, for something that promotes staying healthy, that teaches you new things that, and for the appropriate landscape that we're living in, something with social distancing, that's involved with that. But you have to have a super high end, a super high end value of it, like something that's current, relevant. It's very hard for me to give you pointed advice if I don't know your business. So I really implore you guys to take me up on my offer. Like I do this every week. info@lbmsllc.com is our email, or give us a call, 888-416-7752. And, ask your questions specific to this episode, because I know this episode is a powerful thing. And I know based on what I'm saying, it could be confusing to you unless I'm specific to your business. But I wanted to get it out there so at least you could get the bug in your ear and you get this done. That's no excuse not to get it done. This is a perfect time to do it, actually. If you haven't done influencer marketing, this is the time. This is a great time to start, i.e. why I'm going to start doing it. Here's the thing. Here's one thing that I've noticed. So many brands have had to, like, say, pivot their marketing strategies during this COVID pandemic time. Let's say like Dolce & Gabbana. They stopped posting their luxury clothing photos back in March 11th. Instead, the company started sharing photos and videos of Italians connecting, over balconies while the country was quarantined. So it was like they were showing that. There was a couple of brands here in New York City doing the same thing too. So, but back to the Dolce & Gabbana, as an Italian company, this pivot was still a brand for them because they had commercials showing that, but they were still talking about, but they pulled back all their high-end stuff. I think that's a good thing. So you don't want to go too crazy with this influencer stuff, but you see what I'm saying? You want to make sure that you have some sort of crazy idea, like not a crazy idea. That's a good idea actually, but you have to have some kind of innovative idea like that. That's why I want to give you that example. So you want to avoid messaging and imagery around travel, festivals, and large crowd events. You want to avoid stuff like that. So whenever you're doing your ad, make sure that it's, again, back to the current landscape. If you have photos of people with masks and practicing social distancing somehow that maps back to your brand, let's do it. Or to your service. If you're trying to promote a different service, I'll give you an example. I have a client of mine who was having trouble with his waterproofing company, and during the height of the pandemic. And one of the things that we asked him to implement was change some of the photos on their website. Just a simple change like that, showing his guy, filming a contract. Signing a contract, and he has a mask on, and so does the client, and that was a very powerful change. And then also as they get phone calls, they put and implemented in their strategy. Hey, as of course we're practicing social distancing, our estimators always have masks on. They always have gloves on, and if they have to go into the house, they put on some of their protective foot. They have these booties on, so they don't and then they throw the booties away when they're done. So you see that all of that stuff is something that. These are all pivoting stuff, okay? So, again, when we're talking about advertising for your influencer marketing, you got to have relevant things. That's the gist of what I'm saying. So, you don't want to have imagery of travel and festivals and large events. You want to instead be working with a usual, with the usual travel influencers, a travel brand, that could reach out to some foodie influencers, let's say, to do probably a campaign about recreating an international dining experience at home. That's a good thing. So let's say, since a lot of people who are not, there's still some people, even though the restaurants are open outside, they don't feel comfortable enough, and they still, maybe they order in and they eat outside in their backyard or whatever, but they don't feel comfortable. So a good idea is for a foodie like that, have some sort of different delivery service. Maybe have a catered event with a person who has practices social distancing and goes to your home or something like that. That's a good influencer type of if you could find an influencer who's like that, like maybe what's that famous chef in New York City? I forgot his name. Oh man, name escapes me. But maybe somebody like him, you can help him promote your your brand to the foodies. But I mean, it's a far reach. But hey, you never know. Or maybe like Emerald. Now he's not in New York. He's in New Orleans. But there's another guy, Bobby Flay. That's the guy's name. I knew it was gonna come. Maybe you could get Bobby Flay to promote something like that for you. But anyway, you never know. You got to reach for the skies. The point is, you want to make sure that your images are appropriate for the current landscape. You want, groups of people and packed together without masks. It is not appropriate for now. So if you're gonna do any kind of marketing, make sure it's not that. Any kind of ads, make sure you don't have that. That's the bottom line. So the question is, where to use influencer marketing? Okay, although many of us think of Instagram as the main platform for influencers, and you're not far off. This may be a good time to explore other platforms, though. You're not far off, but this could be a good time because, again, social use has increased over the through the pandemic. So this may be a good time for that. So consider platforms like Pinterest and even TikTok. I mean, my good friend Laura Shipman, who's a social media guru, she turned me on to. I mean, I discounted TikTok. I'm guilty of that, and she turned me on to it. I think she was in one of our episodes earlier, and she turned me on to it. And ever since that, I've been using it, and I've been getting some pretty decent responses on it. So, you don't want to discount things like Pinterest and TikTok. Because they have major upticks right now during this pandemic. Yeah, but they just do. And that popularity, since it goes up, you want to ride that wave because it's the likelihood of it's going away. It's slim to none. So, but let's talk about Instagram now because that's where a lot of the influencers are. That's not where I got A-Rod from. It's funny because I pushed out a follow thing from A-Rod. And he just never followed me back, but he did on LinkedIn, which is interesting. But anyway, back to Instagram. See, Instagram is the undisputed champion of influencer marketing. See, influencers can encourage followers of your Instagram account and create an IG story and with a swipe up to the sales page, okay, or to the I call it a sales page, but it doesn't have to be a sales. It could be just a service page, whatever page you want the people to go into. Okay. And that's going to build the awareness about your brand. Okay. But its popularity means there is a lot of competition for attention. So you got to keep that in mind. That's the issue with Instagram. It's great, but the popularity has a lot of competition. So even during a pandemic, this is going to be an issue. That doesn't mean that it should be avoided, though. But you may also want to consider other outlets like, say, TikTok. Let me talk about TikTok a little bit. Though there are over 115 million TikTok downloads in March. Again, there goes my stats again. And another 112 million in May. Okay? So at this point, there have been over 2 billion total downloads of video sharing, of the video sharing platform. Okay? So back in May, 112 million. And now at this point where we are, there are over 2 billion total downloads of the video sharing platform. See, one of the major benefits of influencer marketing in TikTok is that the virality of the videos and can be a little bit challenging. It's very simple, right? It just helps tremendously. The way it kicks off on the viral nature of the videos on TikTok is amazing. And again, I just started playing around with it ever since the interview with my good friend Laura. And she was right. It's an awesome package. So I would invite you guys to at least check it out. Even if you don't use it for influencer marketing, just check it out to just gain traction. See, if you get an influencer to spark a repeatable challenge, like say Chipotle challenge, right? Something like something like that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Chipotle challenge. I'll tell you a little bit about that later. But you can get a free user generated content out of just one marketing campaign. That's pretty cool. And that's all because of the way how the virality of TikTok videos. Okay, now let's talk about a little bit of Pinterest, which, full disclosure, I don't use often. Pinterest is more of a fashion, in my opinion, more of a fashion platform. But the reason I'm bringing it up here is because there's a lot of people who use Pinterest, and you may want to consider this as a platform for your influencer marketing. So here's some data that I found out. So Pinterest use was up 26% from a year ago. Okay. But its April ad revenue dropped actually 8%. So this is in April. So this may be a great time to spend a little money on the platform. Okay. So you'll see less competition at the time. And remember, this is only if you're not seeing some action on Instagram. So this is an alternative. So you'll see less competition and more people that are shopping. So that is a powerful thing. That's a good combination. It's kind of like an SEO, low competition, high traffic. That's where that sweet spot is. And it's right now, that's where Pinterest is. See, unlike Instagram, Pinterest actually allows for unlimited links back to your website. So that pretty much makes it an excellent source for referral traffic. So if you want to, consider that, that's how you want to do it. And again, we've used Pinterest for customers of ours, not for us. But it's worked really good. And again, the customers that we do well with on this platform is, the clothing. Again, it's that kind of stuff, lifestyle kind of thing, art, health. They do very well on Pinterest. So here is the power of influencer marketing. Is the comfort of familiar faces. With the high levels of audience engagement and trust, influencers can provide a helpful boost to your businesses in a time when marketing dollars are being carefully portioned out. So you want to try a couple of small, affordable campaigns to test, the waters first. Then, if you see success, then you want to budget more influencer marketing over in the coming months. So as long as you as long as that your marketing efforts are considerate to the current climate, you remember you got to be careful with the photos that you put out there. And don't encourage activities that would make your customers feel, say, unsafe, like, showing a bunch of people with no masks on and stuff like that. There's no reason why you can't continue to promote. So I wanna do something right now. I want to have, because I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to start doing this now. Now that I finally got, say, A-Rod to follow me on LinkedIn, I'm going to start seeing if he can help me out with my journey. If he can be a face to LBMS, how cool would that be? That would be pretty cool. So let's do this together, guys. Think of someone in okay, people say, well, Frank, why A-Rod? He has nothing to do with local marketing. It doesn't matter. But obviously in a restaurant, if you're in a restaurant business, it would matter because you want somebody like a Bobby Flay or someone else that's pretty popular. But the reason why it doesn't matter with A-Rod is because he's a businessman and he also has a lot of influence out there. And I'd like to see, how I can turn that into something special for LBMS. So let's do this together, guys. Let's see for the next 6 months. Let's focus our attention. At least let's focus some of our attention, better said, to influencer marketing. Try to reach out to an influencer or two and try to build a relationship and work on some of this stuff. And if you're having problems with the platform of choice, give us a call and we'll help you out. So that's it for this episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you have any questions, 888-416-7752 or info@lbmsllc.com. There's always someone around that's going to help you out with your questions. So until the next episode, this has been Frank Deming, the local business guy. Take care and bye for now. Peace out, everybody.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. Don't forget, any links that were mentioned during the broadcast will be available to you in the show notes, so be sure to grab them while you have the chance. Incidentally, if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss on the show, be sure to send an email to the email provided in the show notes, or click the Contact Us link and let us know what topic you would like us to help you with, and we'll be sure to add it to our schedule. If you would like for Frank and his team to look at your digital marketing presence and give you a free evaluation, simply click the Request a Free Consultation link in the show notes to get a hold of them. That being said, until our next episode, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.